And welcome back to White Claw Wednesday, episode 123. We got another solo one because Ryan's honeymooning in paradise. That was actually the destination he was headed to, paradise. I'd never heard of it before, but it sounded pretty nice. So, doing a quick digital cheers here, and then we'll get the show underway. I'm talking away from the microphone. Cheers. Okay, so, solo episode. Focusing on a couple things today. I want to start with the NBA playoffs and the historical embarrassment that my Phoenix Suns put on display for the world on Sunday. Man, I can't even. Oh, it hurts. Um, Sunday the 18th. I'm doing the math right now. 18th, 17th, 16th, 15th. Sunday the 15th. Day that will live in infamy. May 15th. Um, yeah, our starting center got benched because he quit on the team, according to head coach Monty Williams. DeAndre Ayton benched, quit on the team. Chris Paul turned 37, and then at the last 5 games of the series against the Mavs, he just wasn't Chris Paul. It was, and then Devin Booker, our shooter, our scorer, made 3 shots in Game 7. 3 shots. That's not going to work. And Luka Doncic had the same amount of points at halftime that the Suns had. So Luka had 27, and the Suns had 27, and the Mavs had 57 in total. So it's 57 or 27 at halftime, and that was just like, all right, well, yeah, we're no, oh man, oh I just don't have words. I just don't know how you fall off a cliff like that. How do you go the 6 games before that 7th game? The home team had won every game. So Suns won game 1 and 2 in Phoenix. Then the Mavs won games 3 and 4 in Dallas. And then the Suns won game 5 in Phoenix. Then the Mavs won game 6 in Dallas. And then what do you think? The Suns should win game 7 in Phoenix, right? No, they get destroyed in Phoenix. Destroyed. Trend broken. Also, game 5, which the Suns won, being tied 2-2 going into that game 5 in the NBA history, when teams are tied 2-2 going into game 5, the winner of game 5 wins about 83% of the time. So when the Suns won that game 5 against the Mavs, I was just like, well, okay, well there we go. 80 we're in the solid majority. We're not going to be part of the 18 whatever percent of teams that fail at this moment of being up 3-2 after winning game 5. But we did. So we brought the stat down a little bit. Who knows how much? A little bit. Uh, it just sucks because you have 2 game 7s on a Sunday, and May the 15th, Sunday May the 15th, 2 game 7s. You also had a couple of game 7 NHL hockey games. I like how I say NHL hockey games like it's like a double. It's like saying DC Comics, like Detective Comics. It's like NHL, like National Hockey League hockey game. Like I already said hockey. I think those games were much better from what I heard. And not knowing anything about hockey, I just have to assume they were because man, the 2 game 7s that the NBA provided, the only he had eight quarters of play, and I'd say the first 2 of the quarters in the first game, which was the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Boston Celtics at Boston. The first 2 quarters of that game were pretty close. I mean, close in the sense where Milwaukee was winning and not crushing or anything, but the Celtics were like, okay, like finding our footing at home, we got this, and then they did, and then they just dominated the second half and won by almost 30, I think, if not 30. And then the Suns happen, and the Suns just blow out the whole game. Luka hits 3 shots in a row that are just ridiculous. He hits a step back corner 3, like another step back 3. And then Jay Crowder's hit 1 3, and the score's 8-3. And really, from that point, it just kept going down. And then halftime, historic, just embarrassment. Just oh my god, it it. I felt bad for the Phoenix fans. Spent money on tickets. There were a lot of celebrities at that game 7, that Phoenix game. I mean, they're probably having more fun like hanging out with each other and just like being seen than like having to watch this debacle of a game, man. But all things being considered, for the Suns, they cannot re-sign DeAndre Ayton. They cannot give him. Well, they can re-sign him. They can re-sign him. That's fine. But he just doesn't deserve the super max, as they call it, the super max money. He doesn't deserve to have just a huge $200 million 5-year deal put on his plate. He just doesn't deserve. I mean, he plays well. He plays well. He's super talented. I don't want to lose him, but at the same time, he's not worth the money because he's just wasn't. I don't know. He's 7 feet tall. He's really athletic. He's fast. He can shoot. Like, he can do a fadeaway. Free throw game's pretty good. But he's just missing that anger where it's like I don't know. I just don't see enough. I see more plays where he fades away from the basket or pump fakes or, wow, my stomach. I wonder if the mic's picking that up. My stomach was just going haywire. But he doesn't just jam it down the hoop enough, in the sense of where, like, he'll have plays where he gets the ball and he's wide open for just like a split second because he's got a player just coming up to try to block the shot any way he can. And DeAndre, more often than not, doesn't immediately just slam it as hard as he can and just try to power through the hit he's about to take. I would say probably like 7 out of 10 times, he does like a pump fake and like a spin move, and he kind of like goes away from the basket. And it's frustrating because he's bigger than almost everybody, And that's what was also so sad about this whole like Game 7 doubleheader on Sunday, as a Suns fan, is that the Bucks lose to the Celtics in the first Game 7 of the day, and the Bucks beat the Suns last year in the NBA Finals. And really, the Bucks won 4 straight after the Suns won the first 2 in the NBA Finals last year. And the reason why the Bucks were able to win 4 straight is because Giannis just dominated DeAndre and was just giving him work. And that, to me, was like, okay, yeah, you're not going to get Supermax now because you just got dominated in the finals. But that was more understandable in the sense where, like, Giannis is a player with arguably, actually not arguably, definitely more athletic ability than DeAndre and basically the same height. So that was more understandable. But what was happening this playoff series that just happened against the Mavs, and yeah, it was just he was bigger than everybody. He was a more talented center than every guy they had guarding him during the game, but he wasn't dominating, I'm not asking for Shaq, I'm not asking for Shaq. That's not the kind of domination I'm asking for. I'm just asking for you to, like, just sort of, realize your 7-footness and just start slamming on fools. Man, that'd be cool. Damn. Yeah, but, I hope he stays. Probably not going to happen because he's going to want more money. Someone was probably down to pay him more money than Phoenix is. So, but we'll see. All I can say is, Phoenix, get him out of here. Milwaukee, get him out of here. 2 teams that were in the finals last year, get him out of here. It makes me almost think that, like, maybe like last year's finals was almost happened because of all the injuries. And as a Suns fan, like, it sucks to say that, but, like, I don't know if we could have beaten the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals if they had Kawhi Leonard. Probably not. And we swept the Nuggets before that, and they had no Jamal Murray. So, and then about James Harden with his injury on the Nets, and then Kevin Durant's toe on the 3 line. Game's tied. Bucks make it to the finals. There was a lot of like, whew. But that's not to take away anything from the Bucks or the Suns, obviously. But I'm just saying, thinking going into this season that's going on right now in the playoffs, thinking that the Suns and Bucks were going to be back in was clearly not an educated stance to take, I don't think, because we totally forgot about all the different things that happen to other teams in order to make the paths for the Suns and Bucks easier. But that's just the way the sports goes. It's just the injuries. Oh man, you wish every player could just play until they're like, all right, I'm good. Like almost like a job, like just like any like a regular like desk job where like you can just be like you can work till like you basically till you're dead almost in a way if your brain's still functioning correctly. But that's just not the way sports works. But that'd be interesting. You got like 80-year-olds playing. Like if the human body could like if we could find a way to keep the human body uh line it up with the mind. Because your mind can stay sharper longer than your body, you know. And I think I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure that sounds about right. So imagine if like yeah, your body stayed as sharp as your mind did, you know. Like it's like a good example is like any like of going staying with sports. It's like Jason Kidd, coach of the Dallas Mavericks, great player in the NBA when he played. Played for the New Jersey Nets, Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, won a championship with the Mavericks. He is now a great coach, or at least proving it currently. And I think that goes to show you the whole mind thing. Is like his mind is still just as sharp in basketball as it was when he was playing, but his he got old. He got older, so his body can't do the playing anymore. But just like I'm just imagining a world where we can perfect humans, but that wouldn't happen. But where we can just get humans to be like I'm 80 and I'm still smart and my body moves just as smart as my mind. Because not only have I done crossword puzzles my whole life, but I've also gone running every day or whatever. Going on a tangent here because I'm just overall disappointed that the Suns were eliminated in the fashion they were eliminated in. Because really, once the Bucks got knocked off on that Sunday before the Suns started playing, I got so excited. I was just like, whew, because the Sixers were already out, okay, and then the Bucks were out, and those were the two teams in the East that just had, that size. They had big guys. They had Sixers have Joel Embiid, Bucks have Giannis, Bucks have Brook Lopez, Bucks have Bobby Portis. I'm just saying, like the two teams with the biggest dudes were eliminated, and that was I thought the issue for the Suns last year when they lost the finals is they couldn't rebound well and they couldn't stop Giannis from getting what he wanted. So I was like, oh my god. And then I knew the Celtics and Heat are left in the East, and like they're both defensive juggernauts, but they're not, literal size juggernauts. So like, and then I know that the Golden State Warriors are waiting in the Western Conference Finals for whoever, wins the Mavs Suns matchup. And I'm like, okay, well they're arguably the smallest team left, or they play the smallest, So I don't know. I felt like the road was just so open. It felt very open last year with the injuries and the circumstances I was mentioning, but this year it felt almost like less injury and more like, okay, the teams that we have the best shot at and I think match up the best with, they're the teams that are left. But doesn't matter now because we just failed. We failed. And there's just there's just no way around it. Failure that happened. But now, if I had to predict where the playoffs go, I can see it is Wednesday. So I do have the advantage of having witnessed one game so far, which was yesterday, Tuesday the 17th. Today's Wednesday the 18th. But Tuesday, yesterday, we had the Celtics Heat game 1 Eastern Conference Finals. Heat win. Okay, Celtics win the first half, kind of the opposite of what happened in their game 7 against Milwaukee on Sunday. They don't win the second half. They win the first half, and then the Heat dominate the third quarter. I mean, I think it was 39-14 was the Heat scored 39 points in the third quarter, and the Celtics scored 14. Celtics made 2 shots in the third quarter. I think I said third quarter. Yeah, this is the third quarter. Third quarter of yesterday's Eastern Conference Finals playoff game 1, Miami Heat, Boston Celtics. Miami Heat, third quarter, 39 points. Boston Celtics, third quarter, 14 points. Boston Celtics only made 2 shots in the third quarter. If you're like, how did they get 14? Free throws. But that's besides the point. I have the advantage now of knowing the one game of results. It's tough. It's because it's like Jason Tatum and the Celtics are they're a weird. They ever since Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have been on the Celtics leading the team, it's always been a weird question of are they gonna? Is it gonna be like? Are they gonna? Is the switch gonna be on? This is because sometimes they play like Jason Tatum hits these threes that are just so un. They're just, they swish like crazy, and he steps back, and it feels unguardable. But yesterday, Jimmy Butler blocked one of Jason Tatum's threes, so clearly not unguardable. But my point is, I think I'm gonna stick with the Heat. I think I'm gonna go with the Heat, not stick with them because I never really picked them to begin with. I don't think, but I think I'm gonna go with the Heat in this series. And by think I mean I am, because I think Jimmy Butler seems to have an edge to where he's just gonna he's just gonna he's gonna be able to beat Tatum. You know, Tatum's gonna have great games. I think the series goes 7 games. I do. I think the series goes 7 games. I think the Heat win at home 7th game, and then with the Mavs and Warriors series, man, I did not think the Mavericks were gonna make it this far. That's also what made the Suns losing to them hurt a little bit more. Is that I didn't see this coming. You know, I didn't see Luka being ready to take the next step, and that was to be like make everybody else great. He was already great. He's been great since he came into the league, but first few seasons was it felt like there are times when a player is so good and they're so young that it doesn't feel like it's you're watching like a 5-on-5 game. It feels like you're watching like 1-on-5, and then there's like 4 other players trying to score for the one player as well. But it's I don't know, it just has a different. But Luka has now changed that. He's taken his game to the next level now. And now when I watch him, it feels like 5-on-5. He feels like the leader of the Mavs now, fully, officially. So I'm gonna, poof, I'm gonna pick the Mavs. I'm gonna pick the Mavs. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm picking the Mavs in 7. They're gonna win in the same fashion that the they beat the Suns in. I bet. I just have this feeling. I don't know. Luka just feels like that kind of player. It just feels like it's gonna like go. I'm gonna get even more like specific with my prediction. Like I was saying, I'm gonna say it's gonna happen just like they whooped the Suns. Warriors are gonna win the first 2 games at home. Mavs are gonna win next 2 at Dallas. Warriors gonna win Game 5 home. Dallas Game 6 in Dallas. Go back Warriors Game 7. Luka's gonna make it happen. He is. I don't think it's in the fashion. I don't think their series is like the series the Mavs just had with the Suns. In that the thing about the Mavs Suns series, also what made it really shitty to lose it is that every single game was like a blowout, pretty much. You know, like even though some games, like the scrubs got it down to like 8 or 9, 7 points, whatever. The games were all well in hand by the winning team before the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, well before the last 2. So I don't think that happens. I think the one similarity between the Mavs Warriors and the Mavs Suns is that it goes 7 games, and the only time the away team wins is in Game 7, and that's going to be the Mavs. So yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be Mavs Heat in the finals. Ooh, man. And I think the Heat are going to win it all. I do. I think they're ready. I think this team is an upgrade of the team from the 2020 bubble championship that lost to LeBron, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers. I think they're the fully evolved. Like if that 2020 team is Charmander, then they're now Charizard. So I think they're gonna win it all. And here are the 2 things that are making me make the decision I am, that are making me think it's Mavs Heat in the finals, and then the Heat win it all. Number 1, I think Jason Tatum isn't going to have the switch on for the rest of the series. I think he's going to have it on during some of the games, whether that be 4 out of the next 6, 3 out of the next 6. But I don't think he's gonna have that switch turned on, that superstar switch, because there's some games where Jason Tatum plays like a superstar, and then others games where he doesn't. So I just that's the one thing I'm thinking of. I don't know if that's gonna happen in every six game, every game, and even if it happens in 5 out of 6, I don't even know if that's still enough, because I think Jimmy Butler is just that playoff player, and I think the Heat have better role players. So, and then the thing with the Warriors Mavs that's making me, go the way of the Mavs is Steph. I'm just not. I don't buy it yet. I don't buy it. I don't buy the clutchness. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I have, and I think he's the greatest shooter of all time. And I think I'm a fan of his. I like him. I love to watch him, and I love to root for him. Unless he's playing the Suns, really. So, but I just don't. I don't know. There's something. The 3 championships he's won. 17 and 18. 2017, 2018. Those were the 2 with Kevin Durant. 2015 was the one without Kevin Durant. There's something about him not having 5 championships in a row, and this is really tough to this is the level of this is how high he sits on my you know I don't want to say Mount Rushmore because he's not in my top 4 players, but when I think of greatness and great NBA players, Steph Curry's in my mind, and he would be in the that's the thing. He would be on my top 4 Mount Rushmore if he did the thing that I think he could have done, which was winning 5 championships in a row. Even with the circumstances that caused him to lose finals in 2016 and 2019, those are the circumstances that make me think that he loses a series to the Mavs. Because Clay isn't the same defensively and just athletically. He can still shoot the same, obviously, because that's just, once a shooter, always a shooter. So, but when you have those Achilles and ACL, you get the back-to-back injuries going, you're not going to be. But I'm just focusing on Steph. I'm just focusing on Steph because the fact that he didn't, and like I said, it's just whoa, that's way he won 3 championships. How that's so good. But it's one of those things that I wish happened because I'm being selfish in that some of these feats that the greats have done, Shaq and Kobe doing the 3-peat, Michael Jordan doing the 2 separate 3-peats, I don't remember them, I was alive during some of it, but I just don't remember it because I was too young. So it comes from a selfish point of me saying, me doubting Curry comes from selfishness because I'm damn Curry, I'm kind of still disappointed that you didn't allow me to witness 5 championships in a row. Are you kidding me? And mind you, during these 5 years, the Suns were just they were bad. They were bad. Every year was just another year of okay. I hope we win at least 20 games this season. I hope we get 20 out of 82. And I hope we get Michael Jordan in the draft or something. That was the energy every season for when Curry and the Warriors were going on that historic run. But the reason why I'm going with Luka in the Mavs in 7 games is because Curry's older than he was then, and he didn't do what I wanted him to do, so I don't trust him to do what he has to do now. But prove me wrong, Curry, and prove me wrong, Jason. Because man, at this point now that the Suns are out, whew, I don't care. I just want to see some great games. I just want to see some great series. So I'm making predictions, and I'm going out on limbs, and I don't want to sound like I'm calling out greatness. But man, it'd be cool to get proved wrong by Curry. It'd be cool to get proved wrong by Jason. And then it'd be cool to be proved right. It's win-wins. It's awesome. It's great stuff. It's exciting. 5 championships in a row. In a row. It could have happened. Could have happened. And it's so, oh man, it's I just wanted to witness like it felt like I was witnessing I knew I was witnessing like, oh my god, this is like a historically great team, and I'm alive, and I'm watching all these games, and I'm gonna remember this, and I was just it was just oh, I was like, man, this is cool. And I remember the Warriors being up 3-1 on the Cavs in 2016 after winning the 2015 finals against the Cavs. And I don't know, there's just something about like for some reason in those matchups when the Cavs and the Warriors were always playing during that, you know, basically I'm pretty sure it was let's see 15, 16, 17, 18. Those four finals in the row were all Cavs Warriors. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. I mean, LeBron. Makes sense. LeBron made it to 10 straight finals, but I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's just because he's smaller. Curry's smaller, and he's just. I don't know. He feels more any. I don't know what it always. I always felt like LeBron was the heel in like wrestling terms. Like LeBron was the heel, and I can't think of the term for the good guy that everybody roots for in wrestling matches, but that's what I felt like Steph was, and that was coming from a standpoint of like not being a Cleveland or a Golden State fan. Is that I felt like it seemed like, you know, the media and just the way the teams were, you know, shown to you on television almost felt like they were like kind of like brainwashing you. Like, okay, LeBron's the heel, Steph's the babyface. Is that I can't think of the term for the good guy in wrestling. But that being said, I did still know I still had friends who were fans of neither team as well, and they had the complete opposite opinion. So I really just think that just landed on me, and that was a personal thought, you know, just because LeBron has just been, man, just so jealous, you know. I just wish he was on my team. That's where that's where the hate jealousy is just love and hate at the same time, you know. But I was rooting for the Warriors to close out that 3-1 lead in the finals in 2016. And they lost 3 games in a row. Oof. Man, that's tough. Oh. And that was the season they had gone 73-9. So they set the record for the greatest regular season record ever. 73-9. That's it. That's weird. And it's I love it. I love that is the current sitting. Well, I don't love that they didn't win the championship. That's what also really made me mad, is that I just want, and that was again me being selfish with history. I'm just like, okay, I just witnessed the greatest record of all time. Please put the cherry on top. Please. Because then it's like, oh, but they lost. It's like, oh, I was alive when the Warriors went 73-9. But they couldn't. It's like it's almost like you it's the same feeling I have when a song is skipped, or I hold in a sneeze. It's like, ooh, I just like, let me finish the song, let me sneeze, let the cherry get put on top of the greatest record of all time. Damn it, LeBron. That was Cleveland, this is for you. Well, that was a great moment, obviously. Beautiful. I mean, if I watch that right now, like it's the meaning of it coming from like LeBron, you know, being from Ohio, all that stuff. I mean, it's beautiful. Tears for sure. And the 3-1, the coming back from that, historic. Like, wow. See, that's the thing about, that's the great thing about sports is like, sure, you lose the shot at 5 championships in a row and having and witnessing that moment in history. But you also, because of that, you get like 2 new history stories. You know, you just like the history, like the stories kind of expand. So like, instead of like, oh, the Warriors won 5 championships in a row, it's the Cavs came back from 3-1 in 2016, and LeBron got Cleveland a championship. It's like, what? Like, it's like where he started. He went to Miami. Like they like to say he learned how to win. Yeah, he went to Miami. He won a couple championships. He came back to Cleveland. He won a championship for them. That's what he wanted to do all along. amazing. And then you have the fifth, what should have been, what could have not should have been, what could have been the fifth championship for the Warriors to wind up the five in a, I mean to close out the five in a row. Was in 2019 when the Warriors lost in the finals to the Toronto Raptors, and that was the streak. That was when the streak ended of LeBron, the 10 finals appearances. Right? Wasn't that the streak? Was it 10? I might have to do some math right now. Am I wrong on that? I'm gonna count after this. Just like give me just 1 second here. But yeah, so he had Kawhi Leonard won that championship in 2019 for the Raptors, and that was like history being made there, because that was what you had there. Was you had Kawhi Leonard not wanting to play for the Spurs anymore, understanding that he needed to sort of have he wanted to go to LA. He wanted to play in LA. But contracts being confusing, being told what I'm told by sports media people is Kawhi had to do like a 1-year pit stop in order to get free to go to LA. And I think that was the fact that it probably had something to do with the Spurs still had control over him as a player. So, and he didn't want to play for them anymore. And they didn't want to send him to the West or send him to somewhere they didn't approve of. So they just sent him to Toronto. And that was like, okay. Because it was like, oh, take the rest of his contract kind of thing. I'm making assumptions here. I've just heard the thing that people like to talk about is, oh, the Kawhi was just going to the Raptors for 1 year to be able to go to LA to play for the rest of his career or whatever. And that right there, if that's true, and even if it isn't true, it's still amazing that a guy joined a team for 1 season and won a championship with them. I mean, damn. And where I'm saying the Warriors could have had 5 in a row is the fact that they were up 3-1 in 2016. Okay, should have closed. I know Draymond got suspended for Game 5 for the dirty, I think it was a kick to the groin, I think. He got suspended for Game 5, which was huge. And they couldn't win Game 6, they couldn't win Game 7. Steph shot really bad from 3 in those last 3 games that they lost 3 in a row to the Cavs when they were up 3-1. Steph shot really bad, and that's what's coming into my mind when I'm thinking of this current series that's about to start tonight with the Mavs and the Warriors. Is Steph finally gonna hit that clutch on? He's gonna because he's won 3 finals, but he hasn't won Finals MVP because 2017 and 2018 they had Durant. He won back-to-back Finals MVPs. 2015, when they beat the Cavs, and they didn't have Durant, Andre Iguodala won Finals MVP, which some say is probably should have gone to Steph, but Andre got it because he played good defense on LeBron, and that's really all you could say about that because in reality LeBron still got really good numbers as he always does because he's freaking LeBron. But apparently, just it was almost like oh my God, we just beat LeBron in the NBA championship. We probably have to give Finals MVP to the dude who's guarding him because we won. And it's just like when we beat LeBron, so it's like we beat the guy. So it's like we got to give the dude guarding the guy the Finals MVP. So Curry's still in that sort of like, oh, okay, he's got 2 regular season MVPs, but I mean, where's that postseason just clutchness, And I feel like that's another thing. That's why I would love to have be wrong. I'd love to have Curry prove me wrong because I want to know. I want to see that clutch gene. I want to see him just close it out, just because I just always go back. I think if he's more clutch, they win the 3-1 series because he makes more threes and they close out the game. Because I remember Kyrie Irving hit that shot, that 3 in Game 7. It wasn't at the buzzer. They could have still won. The Warriors could have still the shot was so clutch in it, and it was the dagger. But Curry could have been badass enough to take the dagger out and then just put it back in the Cavs, But it just and since he didn't do that, and then in 2019 when they're in the finals against the Raptors and Durant gets injured and Clay gets injured, I still felt like he could have, those are 2 daggers right there into the Warriors' hearts. And I wanted to see Steph be like, I am this team. I'm Steph Curry. that's a big reason why people say Durant left, is because it's like it was still Curry's team. But I just want to see him take the knives out, take the stabs out, and, get the other team. And that's where I'd be proved wrong with my prediction for the Mavs and Warriors series starting tonight. Is if Curry just, Steph Curry, if he just, he listens to this podcast and he says, fuck you, Frank. I'm just gonna destroy the Mavericks. Because that's the thing. I mean, the Warriors are favored in the series, and even though I picked the Mavs, I could be dead wrong in so many ways, and that the Warriors could really just hit the gas and just cook the Mavericks. Because I remember I was watching the Warriors closeout game in the second round semis against the Grizzlies that they just recently won a few days ago. And I mean, I know in Game 5 they got crushed by the Grizzlies, but man, that Game 6 performance that they closed out with in Golden State, I remember watching that, and the Suns, had their Game 7 coming up against the Mavs. And I remember thinking, man, if the Suns beat the Mavs, which they didn't, I don't know if they can beat this Warriors team. Because they're good. They move the ball fast, and they're so freaking good at shooting it, too. So they're good at getting open shots, and then they're good at hitting them, which is just, and their three-point shooting is crazy. I just think it's going to be a really good series because I think, like I said, Luka has taken the next step in his career, and he's become a player who can also, facilitate and make his other dudes around him great. So yeah, prove me wrong, Steph. Because I think in 2019 you should have gone mano a mano with Kawhi Leonard, and you could have won that series without Kevin and without Clay. I think you could have done that, and I think that would have been the would have almost kind of sort of made up for the way you played in games 5, 6, and 7 when you blew the 3-1 lead in 2016 to the Cavs. I think it would have been like, okay, that's the Steph that we needed back then, but at least we got him for this ring. But they didn't. So now, can we get him for this ring, this 2022 ring? Because if the Warriors go on a finals run, and if it goes the way I think a finals run for them would go this season, he's going to win the finals MVP, and that's going to be his. That's going to, yeah. That'll, Warriors fans will forget about, well, they won't forget, but it'll make 2016 and 2019 sting a lot less. If Curry puts the squad, on his back and just sinks them from 3 to victory. Just man. I mean, there's nobody more entertaining to watch shoot the 3 ball than Curry. The way he shoots it so fast, his release. It's just so it's so quick. It's almost like you don't even how is he shooting? Because you got the one hand on the ball, and your other hand is the guide hand. Flick the wrist, extend the arm. He does it so quick it doesn't even look like he's doing it. It's like boom. So yeah, those are my predictions. Oh, and then the finals. I think if I'm right, and if it is the Mavericks versus the Miami Heat. I think the Heat win in I'm gonna be selfish again. I'm gonna say 7 games. 7 games. I just want 7 games. When the Suns are not playing, I want all that I can get. Okay? When the Suns are playing, I want them to win by 50. I want them to sweep every team. Because I get more I'm less stressed out when I watch them in those situations when they're up by 40 and when they're sweeping teams. I'm like, okay, we got this. It's harder to watch when it's so close. But when you're not rooting for one of the other teams, the close games are the ones that you want. Or at least that's how it is for me, man. I just want 7-game series. I just want 7-game series. And I'm going out on limbs here, making these predictions with the fact that Jason Tatum's not going to play superstar level basketball for all 6 of the remaining games, and Steph Curry's not going to be able to, be the Steph we know and love, who holds the record for most threes of all time. It's just, this is the first season ever where he shot under 40% from 3. So, you tell me. Yeah, I'm not. It's funny. 40% from 3. You think, that doesn't even sound that good. That's pretty good. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 every game. Take that. That's nice. That's 12 points. Well, I've been blabbering on for so long about basketball that just want to cover one topic real quick here. Just a last little fun little thing here for those still listening. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Should it have been rated PG-13? Should it? For those of you who have seen it, I'm not going to do any spoilers right now, but because I would just talk for another 30 minutes. But just a question to pose. Even though I ran with one topic for the whole episode, and then I jump ship at the end here just to get the mind working, make you think. If you haven't seen it, I'd see it. I'd say it. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's seriously the first Marvel movie where I felt like, okay, yeah. Like I've known the director. I've known some directors who have personally. I've known directors personally. No, I just mean like I've been familiar with some of the work of the directors who they've chosen to direct some of these Marvel movies, and this to me was the first one. This Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was the first Marvel movie where I really felt like, actually that's I was about to say that, but then I was going okay, but the James. Okay, James Gunn. Okay, James Gunn. He's the other one. I feel like when I watched Guardians 1 and 2, I feel like, okay, this is James Gunn movie. That's also a Marvel movie. Second time that's happened now with this new one. I was like, this is a Sam Raimi movie. That's also a Marvel movie. So that was really cool. But that right there is like, that kind of leads into my question of, do you think it should have been R-rated? Because Sam Raimi does the horror thing, and his really good movie that he made after Spider-Man 3, Drag Me to Hell, was PG-13. Very scary still. And I just think he's good at like getting, like he's been to enough, rating meetings by the MPAA when they're like, okay, this movie is definitely R, or this movie is definitely PG-13. And he's just, I don't know, he's just, maybe, I guess he's just better than, he's just good at knowing what the limits are. So yeah, just question for the end of the episode. To you, in your own mind, when you were watching, did it cross PG-13 boundary, or did it stay right in there? To me, it stayed right in there. But I think that's because I've seen movies like Antichrist. So it's another one. Check that out. Just kidding. Don't do it. I'll scare you. 123. White Claw Wednesday coming to an end. We did a nice solo episode here. Okay, this was fun. I love doing this. This was episode 123. I was a little bummed that Ryan wasn't here to do it with me because it's a great number, 123. But by myself, I did what I could, okay? And Ryan and I will be back next week sitting together in the studio with the clock tower behind us. So thank you for watching episode 123. Ryan and I love you. Thanks for liking, subscribing, watching everything you do. We're keeping this moving because it's just too much damn fun to stop. I could talk for hours, but my computer can't hold it. All right. Peace. Love you. 123. Over and out.